good to be back home again. We had, obviously, last weekend was a nice way to start the season off. And after Sunday, we moved on to East Tennessee State. So we got a little banged up, I would think. I don't know for sure who's going to be out, but we have a few starters that'll be very limited this week. We'll see how it happens in the next couple of days and see if they can play on Saturday. But hopefully we'll have another nice crowd, and our guys will be ready to play.
Talk about the challenge at hand with ETSU this week.
Yeah, we're trying. The first thing is the biggest challenge is it's our first game of the year, so we don't know for sure what they're going to do offensively, defensively, who they're going to do it with. And we're looking at the depth chart, but they got a lot of new guys. They got some transfers coming in, so we're not sure about personnel just yet. So we'll catch that up as the week goes on. But they play hard. 2 years ago, they were in the playoffs, had a very good football team. A little younger last year. They lost some guys in the portal, but they gained a lot of guys in the portal, so we're still trying to figure out who those are. And then we also got a lot of issues, not a lot, but we got issues we got to fix on our own team, some execution issues on offense, some things we got to clean up, and so that'll be our focus this week.
Could you break down how you thought Simon played Saturday?
Yeah, he didn't have his best game. I mean, he's played a whole lot better. I thought he competed well, made some nice throws, was in control the whole time, knew what was happening, but he can play a whole lot better, and he knows that. I think he's our expectation for Zion is pretty high, and his expectation for himself is pretty high. And I thought our quarterback play was not to what he can do or what we can do going forward.
When you look at the numbers, it seems like he runs less than we would think he does because he's so fast. Would you like him to run more? Or
Yeah, they all. If the quarterbacks aren't willing to run in our offense, they won't play quarterback. We won't play with 11. Now there's, obviously you don't want those guys as much as running backs or other guys, and there were some opportunities, and he had some runs, and there's some other opportunities that he had. We'll mix things up. Obviously we'd rather have our running backs and our slots carry most of the balls, particularly our running backs, but they had a couple other opportunities to run. But when he ran, but there were a couple runs. I don't know. I think he might have been a little banged up early and was trying to fight through it, but there were a couple of times he slid a little early, and that's not how we play.
You guys ran for 208 yards. Could you talk about the job that the line did contributing to that?
We played really hard. That's a really good front that we played, and we ran well. But again, we left some stuff out there. Didn't execute in the passing game at all like we needed to. But even in a run game, we thought there were a couple runs that we missed, some things, and got to get better at going forward.
You mentioned that y'all had 130 visitors for this game.
Yeah.
What does that mean, and how does that compare to last year and maybe other places you've been before?
Yeah, it was more, obviously last year we opened up in week 0, but it was down in Montgomery, so it wasn't our home game. So that was a big thing about it. It's been years since we'd had a home opener. You guys would know better than I do, but and we were, we knew that there was the first game, and so we'd get a lot of visitors, but I was concerned with the heat. Would we have as many? And the turnout was, we expected 100, and we got about 30 walk-ups. So it was the most by far since I've been here, in the short time I've been here, the most visitors we've had on a weekend. And we're going to have, I think, another pretty good, not as big this weekend, but another good group. And just getting guys on campus, I didn't do a poll, but probably half of them at least were maybe the first time they've ever been to Jack State and on our campus. And that's the whole thing, that this whole season I think we'll see a lot of first-time visitors in athletics, and we'll see a lot of first-time visitors overall. So I think this is going to be a neat season to see how it helps enrollment of the school, our profile of the school, and certainly our program. We've got some really good guys visiting, and we had some last weekend.
Because you said it was a lot more than last year, could you ballpark like twice as much?
Oh, it was twice, more than twice as much. Again, the timing of it probably helped because it was week 0. There wasn't other games for them to go to. A lot of the high schools weren't playing, and so there was a lot of factors that led to that. But nonetheless, and I think our recruiting staff did a good job of getting some guys here. And not all of them were offers or will be offers, but there were enough guys that were offers or guys that were potential offers that were here. And we've always said this, and any coach will tell you that, anytime you could get a young man on campus, it's a bonus, especially our campus. I mean, you got to, have them come and see it to appreciate it, I guess. And that's when you get to campus, and the more you come back to campus, the more you like it, the more you realize, what Jack State's all about. So that was really good.
In the past, JSU was the FCS team trying to beat the FBS team, and now kind of on the other side of that. What to tell these guys about living on that end of it?
Yeah, now I don't really, talk. I'll talk a little bit about it, but I'm not a big talk about this and that, all that kind of stuff, because I'm more concerned about how we play every week. It's the same way last week. It's our first year as a full-fledged FBS, so we're not like an established FBS program or anything like that. So, it was a year ago we were playing on that level, and we're still, most of those guys are still back. So our guys will, we always concern ourselves with ourselves first. But they'll watch the film. They'll see they got good football players. It's their first game. They'll play extremely hard. And there's areas that we got to play a lot better at. And they'll have 63 or 65, whatever guys on scholarship. So we're going to have to play. And I would be shocked if our guys don't prepare the same way they've been preparing, if not even better. I mean, our Sunday walkthrough, today's practice will be physical, and our methods, our way of coaching, our approach doesn't change no matter who it is. It's just the way it is.
I mean, you've had a couple of days to kind of unwind from playing on the big network of CBS Sports. Have you or any of the players kind of felt any immediate residual effects of getting that big spotlight?
No, I mean, that's a fair question. I think, you have, anytime you open up with a nice win and it's got some national exposure, I've got, you get a few more texts and a few more people probably watched it that maybe couldn't find it on a streaming service. So you get a few more people that see Jack State, and then guys, friends of mine like Pat McAfee may mention it one time or two, but he's one of my guys, right? So, but anyway, I think that's nice. And after Sunday night, I get a few more texts on Monday, and then it's kind of move on to the next deal.
I have to imagine that helps, when you're trying to build the reputation, when you have a guy like Pat McAfee that's willing to shout you out and recognize you with his station.
Yeah, 100%. Not that he doesn't have to do that, but we had a great relationship when he played for me. We've always kept in touch, and he's not only highly successful, but he knows what he's doing. I mean, he studies college sports, particularly college football, and he knows what's going on, and he has a lot of fun with it. I think, again, I'll talk to anybody and everybody about our school, about our football program, to try to grow it. I mean, we have to do that. I mean, we have to get I'm not saying I'm a promoter type of guy, but every opportunity we have to promote our program, to promote our university, we're going to do it. And I wish more people would pay more attention. We got a lot of we have a lot of successful people that went to school here, that have ties to here, that we want people to know about, and we're going to brag about it. And so I'm glad we got this exposure, and we're going to have a whole lot more before the season's over. And I don't want to think it's all tied to winning, but winning helps.
Now that you've seen film, what are some things you'd like to see the team improve on overall?
We got to execute better offensively. There were times we were pretty good and times we were awful. We gave up one or two big plays on defense, but the effort defensively was great. We had a couple missed assignments and got a little lucky with. I thought our special teams was solid, but we didn't. There's still a few things that I didn't think we were aggressive enough with. But a lot of first game things. We didn't have pre-snap penalties or any silly penalties, anything like that. So that part was good. I thought our tackling. You always worry about tackling in the first game, because you don't do a lot of tackling with each other. I thought our tackling was pretty solid. I had missed a few tackles here and there, but the tackling was pretty good for a first game. But I got a laundry list of stuff to work on that we need to work on offensively. We're trying to correct that.
Any positive surprises? Anything that maybe exceeded where you thought y'all would be that first game?
No, I mean, with their, we knew they had a big, strong veteran offensive line, and we got some pretty athletic defensive linemen, but we're not big there. And so the concern was, were they going to push us around a little bit? And they were good. They had some creases and they had some runs, but we held our own up front. And part of that was some of the stuff we were doing defensively, but part of it was our guys were really active up front, getting off blocks. We weren't getting reached a lot when they tried to reach us, and so our D-line played really hard, and our backers, were triggering quickly, and even when they had a crease or two and looked like it was going to be a long run, they limited it to maybe 10 or 12 yards with that. So I thought our pursuit and our getting to the ball was really good. It was what we expect and what we demand, but it was really good, and you saw our linebackers and our safeties and everybody getting to the ball pretty quickly.
With Quae specifically, I know you've complimented his leadership and how quickly he's kind of learned the system. On the field, what does he bring? What does he do well that makes you want to put him in that role?
Well, he's a really good football player that it's really important to. So he studies it. He knew the game or knew our defense from with being with Coach Alley in Monroe, and then he just fit right in. But it's important to him, and you can see the way he prepares. The way he works. His demeanor. I mean, from the first week he was here, he's automatically one of the leaders, and that's not easy to do when you're coming in with guys that have been in the program 3 or 4 years. So, but he's got all the tools. I mean, he's athletic and he's physical, and I think more than anything else, he loves playing football. So, we thought when he came here, he's a plug and play guy. Plug him in and play. Got him off the free agency market, and only got him on a 1-year contract, but we'll take it.
Just watching Coach Alley on the sidelines, it looks like he has a lot of energy, and the defense kind of feeds off that energy. What's it like having a guy like that to lead your defense?
Yeah, I don't. Well, how old is Zach now? He's not 30 yet, is he? No, he's young. But yeah, he's got a lot of energy, and one of the, not just Zach, but one of the, I never look back when I'm coaching. I just everything's on the forward. But when you see a highlight or something afterwards, the thing that I get a big kick out of is watching the reaction of the sidelines when somebody on our team makes a big play. And so, I mean, you're seeing 120 guys and 30 staff members and trainers, managers, and all that jumping up in there when Jero makes a pick or there's a big play, and you can see the team that's into it. You know what I mean? That's the most fun to me when you watch, like if you watch the last play of the game and seeing the emotion and the enthusiasm, the intensity on the sidelines, that tell us our guys are into it. And that to me is what it's all about.
That last play, and I know you mentioned that y'all had a defensive breakdown. You didn't.
Yeah, we're lucky.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, Jeremiah did a great job on that play. But what do y'all teach those guys when guys like Jeremiah see that maybe somebody else missed their assignment? What are they supposed to do?
If you play really hard, you wind up getting more luck. That's it. You play really, really hard. It seems like you get a little bit more lucky. At least that's in my experience. And our guys were playing really hard, and J-Rowe played really hard. And so, but I don't think, obviously there's some luck involved in that, but also it was, a football player being a good football player.
Is that just, when those things happen, you just trust those guys
to
follow their instincts?
Yeah, a little bit with J-Rowe's, got a lot of experience, 10 years or so worth. Right? So some of that experience paid off and said, hey, we're in trouble here. Let me read the quarterback's eyes and go where his eyes are at, instead of just panicking and going one way. His experience led him just say, okay, how do I, and you got to think it like this, right? So what do I do? Just get my eyes on the quarterback, see where he's going, and break on the ball that way.
Was the battle won in the trenches this game? And if so, could you explain how the offensive line and defensive line both handled their business?
Yeah, I thought our D-line, like I said earlier, they moved, they handled themselves, and that's against a pretty good front. That's a really good offensive line we played. And then our offensive line, I thought, they always play really hard. I mean, we don't have to worry about that. But we did a pretty good job in some movement stuff. We missed a thing here and there, and we got a little banged up and all that. But I thought our offensive line played well enough for us to win. And we missed some things with our skill guys, but our O-line, they got after it pretty good, and that's a good defensive front. You'll see that throughout the season. They don't give up a lot of rushing yards, and it's because of who they have up front. They've done a nice job. Coach Dimon, I told him this after the game, they've done a nice job building the program. I mean, I played them, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago at Arizona. That's before Coach Dimon got there. And they weren't very good, and they didn't have that kind of team that they have now. And over the last few years, he's built it up to having, I think, a really solid football team.
Ron, we didn't see y'all use him much in the passing game last year. Does his involvement Saturday speak more to his improvement in that, or just maybe a greater opportunity?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think Ronnie's more familiar with our offense, so there's less hesitation on all of our plays. I run our pass plays with him. And two, there's a trust factor. You know, he's got good ball skills. He's a really good athlete. And so we trust. I mean, I think every back we have, there's not one back like you say, well, I don't know if I want to throw it to him, you know. But there's not one what we have that we don't think has really good ball skills. And so that to me is a bonus. And we're going to use those guys in a lot of different ways like that.
I assume in years past you've had running backs that maybe were really talented, but you didn't want to put in a position where they had to play as a receiver?
Well, and they're playing running backs. And I think if your running back has bad hands, you wonder if he's going to be your running back anyway, right? But you know, our difference is that our guys are, you know, we're multi-formational, you know, multi-tempo, and move them all over the place. And so we trust our guys out in space. That's the biggest thing. And there have been sometimes I've had backs that maybe didn't have as good a hands as others, but everywhere I've been, we've had guys with really, really good ball skills. And like I said, these guys that we have, every one of them has shown that in practice. They got good ball skills.
I mean, we saw a lot of starters on the special teams unit. I mean, what kind of guy do you look for to play special teams? Is that kind of a privilege to play special teams?
Sure it is. A lot of guys want to. Certainly, if they all want to put themselves on tape and maybe play at the next level, and, you know, playing special teams is a big part of that. But we probably have more backups playing special teams than most teams, and I like doing it that way because those guys want to play, and that'll be a big focus for them to be really good on their special teams. And we'll have a few. You'll see some starters on punt and punt block and returning and whatever, but for the most part, most of our special teams are guys that aren't the starters, but they'll play some, and they take a lot of pride in those special team units.
Obviously, the secondary was the immediate game changer that ultimately won you all the game. But is there something you still like to see improvement on?
Yeah, I mean, looking over defensively, there's a few big plays, and like I said, we had a few busts on some different stuff coverage-wise that we've got to get corrected, especially if we start playing up-tempo teams that spread you out. But overall, I think the competitiveness of them was the best thing. So we challenged our corners quite a bit, and I thought they responded pretty well. And those guys are all, I don't want to say new, but they're young guys. They're getting their first extensive playing experience. And so we threw them out there, and I think, you know, every game they'll get better because as you get experience, particularly on this level, it helps you understand because games go a lot faster than practices. And then those guys saw that last weekend.
Tell us your thoughts on how you thought your first game at Jackson State went on Saturday in the World Cup.
Right. I had a lot of fun my first game here at Jacksonville State. I told Coach after the game I just appreciate him bringing me in and bringing me back close to my family. But overall, I think we played good and it was fun to be on the winning side.
Quae, how much family did you have at Saturday's game? It seemed like you had on social media an awful lot of people crowed about how well you did.
Yes, sir. So I had my whole family. They always been there for me. They always travel to see my game. I probably had about like 14 or 15 of them come. I have a big family, but they'll be here all season, and they're excited that I'm home. Just the 45-minute drive isn't as bad as it has been in the past, so they're excited, and I'm excited as well.
Are there some friends or family that were able to come to this that maybe weren't able to come or not able to come regularly before?
Right. A lot of my high school friends, you know, from a little small town, they work hard, and they all in school too, so being where I was at my previous school, they wasn't able to come and wasn't able to get there. But being here, that it's a lot easier for them. Like I said, the drive is a lot shorter. So I saw a lot of them. I saw a couple of them in the stands as well.
You said you're like 45 minutes away. I mean,
Right.
does winning here mean a little bit more than it did the other places, just because you're able to have all those high school players who you went to your high school able to watch you?
Right, it kind of feels like high school again, kind of sort of like a lot of my buddies getting to come watch me play just means a lot to me because bring up like old memories, and I know that they want the best for me and they're proud of me. So it just motivates me when I go out there a little bit more here, just knowing like I have a lot more people in the stands that's there and they want the best for me. So.
What was that? I know you had a relationship with Rich Rod before, but what was that conversation like when you're talking to him about coming?
You know what? It was a little different this time because when I first went to ULM, I really didn't know Coach Rich Rod much. I didn't talk to him a lot. I talked to Coach Alley a lot more. But coming here, just being able to just conversate with him and just see how he can allow me to be successful here and how I can come in and impact this team. And I told him that I want to come in and play and I want to come in and be a leader on this team. And he's allowed me to do that, and I'm forever thankful for him for allowing me to be here.
Were you nervous at all just about I'm coming into a new team, I'm only going to be here 1 year? Were you nervous about just finding your spot?
Not really. I'm a true competitor. Like I said, I've played with them before. I've been in situations with them before in my previous school. So it was just a matter of just coming in and just learning my teammates and earning their trust more so than like being nervous around the coaches and stuff. But everything's been fine. They've been open me and welcome arms, so I'm excited.
Rich Rod kind of said the guys that came with me from ULM, they have a little bit of a leg up just because they know the system that both he and Coach Alley bring. I mean, do you feel that that's true?
That is true. Coach Alley, he's a great coach, man. He works hard day in and day out to, come up with a game plan for us to go out there and be successful. So just knowing his system has given me a little bit more of a leeway, I already know a little bit of what's coming, so that's made it easier for me to play faster and play harder day in and day out and also compete each and every day.
How would you evaluate how the defensive front did, especially against an offensive line that had so much experience?
Yes, sir. So I want to give a big shout out to my D-line and Coach Green for getting them boys right. They work hard each and every single day. Like, I'm so thankful for them and what they done for, the linebackers because they keep those big boys off of us. But they was moving well, and they all played hard this past Saturday. And I just want to give a big shout-out to them because that's where the game is really won. But I'm thankful for them, and I'm glad that I can play behind them.
Was it in the locker room, did y'all talk about, there's this perception that FBS, okay, those guys are going to be bigger, they're going to be faster, they're going to be stronger. Did y'all have conversations about like, let's go prove that we can be one of those teams, that, we can be one of those bigger, faster teams?
Right, yes, sir. I mean, coming in, I'm kind of a quiet guy, I kind of just sit back and listen, but I heard some chatter about, us going up and us proving that we can be here, but I try to remind them guys that, like, it's football at the end of the day. You just got to go out there and play hard and trust our game plan, trust what Coach has given us to be successful, and I just try to remind them that, no matter what, like how the game goes, just keep playing the next play. You have short-term memory, go out there and just don't think too much and don't be nervous, just play hard.
How does your play and leadership change the overall culture of the defense?
I feel like me personally, I bring that competitive edge to this defense. Like I said, I've been knowing Coach Alley, so I bring that leadership a little bit to the linebacker room. We're a little young there in linebacker, so just being there and being able to help them guys, they may have some questions for me that I may know, and a lot of stuff I've seen that they may not have seen because I play a lot of ball, so I feel like just being there has helped us out a little bit more too.
So would you say you're more of a mentor role?
Yeah, I would say more of a mentor role. Like I said, I'm not really I can't be outspoken a little bit, I can't be, I'm not a big talker, but if they need me, they know that I'm always there for them and that I'll answer any question or be there for them or do anything I can to help them out.
How many times have you watched Jeremiah's interception since that game?
A lot, I've seen it. It's been everywhere on Twitter, Instagram, I mean, like every social media platform, it's been out there. So I watched it over and over and over, and I'm just excited that, I'm thankful that he was there and made a great play for us.
I mean, as a defensive guy, can you appreciate the spot? He's in a spot where he's got two guys he's kind of got to guard. Can you appreciate that I guess the position he's in and the fact that he's able to make that play.
Right, like when I saw the play, I was like, man, you made a great play because, two guys I think were open and, like Coach said, when you play hard, a little bit like more luck is on your side. So I'm just glad that he was there. He made the play, and I'm forever thankful that he was there.
You guys played on major network CBS Sports. You felt like kind of any residual effects of getting that spotlight and playing on that big stage?
I'm glad that, we came here and that we're making the transition, that, we showed the world that we can play on this level and that we can compete here. But for me, I've been in big games before. I was just excited to be out there and just play and just showcase my skills a little bit more.
Am I remembering correctly from Saturday that Malik said y'all kind of had a moment where y'all afterward just said, like, this is what we had talked about when we decided to come here?
Yeah, so Malik, he was here a semester before I got here, and, transferring in, I asked a lot of questions to Malik, because me and him had built that relationship at ULM, and I told him, if I come here, I had one goal in mind, and that was to win and pursue a bowl game, and I feel like we started off on the right foot. So after the game, it was just like a mutual connection, like, man, you know what, like, we actually did start out right, and we can actually do this, and it felt great.
Does it mean a little bit more that not only Malik is here, but Perry Carter is here as well, and just having those three guys that played in the same program?
Right, yes, it means a lot, because we went through some times at our previous school, but, we put that in the past, but also just knowing that we all three have each other, and like them two, when I came in, they made me feel like immediately like I wasn't, a newcomer. So just having them, being able to talk to them at the start when I first arrived here, it just meant a lot to me, and I'm thankful that them boys was there for me.
Saturday game, I thought we played fantastic, on both ends, especially on defense. Defensive line, offensive line, they held their own. And, we had a few mistakes throughout the game, but we got practice, and, we're going to fix the things that we messed up on.
For a guy being from Jacksonville, went to high school here, college here, was it a little special to be able to score that first FBS touchdown? Did nobody ever take that away from you?
Yeah, that was a surreal moment, first FBS touchdown in program history. I mean, just hopefully in the future, it'll be many more,
Question for Ron?
Yeah, Ron, just, and not that the other guys on the team don't appreciate it, but, for you growing up here, do you think it maybe meant just a little bit more, maybe you appreciated how far the program's come after the game was over and you realized, hey, we got our first win at the FBS level?
Yeah, most definitely, just being from here, coming to the games when I was younger, and just seeing them playing at the FCS level, and now, years later, we're now at FBS, national televised games, more exposure. So it's a big thing, and I'm happy for where this program is going.
How much of a motivating thing is it for you to get the chance to prove yourself on this level?
It's a big thing, I heard a lot that I wasn't gonna make it next level because I was just a speed guy, just run, and like now I'm just proving that I was wrong, FBS level is a new level now. We're not at FCS no more, so just being able to play at this level is big.
Obviously, you get a lot of credit for making the plays that you did, but how much credit do you have to give to your offensive line?
The offensive line gets all the credit, Without them, I wouldn't be making the plays I play, So shout out to my offensive line, They work in and out, In the trenches, that's where the game is won, So I get a shout out to them.
How good did it feel to make that, I think it was a 17-yard catch, sort of down the sideline?
Yeah, it felt good, in practice, we work on plays like that all the time. So, in the game, it just connected, just like practice.
Do you, that's not a role we saw you in a lot last season. Do you feel like you've improved as a pass catcher, or is it just maybe there's a little more opportunity for you to make those plays now?
I most definitely think I improved as a pass catcher, In high school, a lot I really didn't catch the ball out the backfield, so most definitely improved as a pass catcher.
Is it cool to show off, hey, I'm not just a guy that's going to, I can do it all?
Yeah, most definitely, just being a running back, you don't want to just be a running back, You want to have skills outside of being a running back. You can line up and slide, catch the ball out of the backfield. So that's most definitely a skill you want to have.
After the game Saturday, Coach said you did a lot of work in the offseason to really build up your body What was the goal in the offseason? What did you achieve?
Well, really the goal in the offseason was mainly to get bigger, you know. I always been like 170, 175, 180, so really this offseason my goal was to just at least get like around 190, 195, and, you know, we got a great strength staff, you know, and Coach Blake worked us hard in the spring and in the summer, and I was able to achieve my goal.
Everybody kind of saw the defensive player celebration when Jeremiah made the interception. What was going through your head when you saw him make that big?
Oh, I was on the bench standing up because it was crowded on the sideline. So once he picked it off, I jumped out the bench, ran on the field, and started turning over everybody else.
What's, you know, with it being so late in the game and, you know, they're 4th and 1, you a little nervous when you're watching those plays there at the end of the game?
I'm pretty sure everybody's nervous, you know. I mean, that was an intense game. You know, they was driving the ball down the field, you know. It just came to the end, and Gerald made a great play at the end.
I mean, he's obviously one of the leaders on this team, not just with Abe, but Rich Rod kind of said, you know, he's an extension with the coaching staff almost. I mean, does it mean a little bit more for you to see a guy like him make that play just because of the position he has?
Oh, yeah, you know, me and Gerald, we had a connection before I even came to Jack State because, you know, I'm a local town kid. You know, I used to come up here and work out with some of the JSU players before I came up here, and Gerald was one of those. So just seeing him make that play, you know, it just means something to me because, like, I done seen him work. I done seen him grind. Like, I done seen the time he has put in to this point, you know.
Do you remember before you were part of the program, I assume there were games you probably visited as a recruit?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember how many people were normally there on the sidelines with y'all when y'all were visiting?
That I can't tell. It's been so long.
The reason I was asking, I think Rich Rod said y'all had 130 visitors Saturday. I'm guessing when you were coming up, a lot less.
Yeah.
Groups were probably a lot smaller than that?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
So you've obviously played on the FBS level and the FCS level. What are the key differences you see in the style of defense and how well defensive plays?
Well, it's a lot more faster. You know, I'm no shade on the FCS or nothing, but the FBS level the game is played way faster, you know, and that's just really the major part of FCS and FBS.
Was there talk in the offseason or whatever amongst the guys in the team to kind of prove that y'all could handle that jump, you know, going up to that jump where the guys are bigger and faster?
Oh yeah, you know, it's a thing where FCS players like doesn't do too good their first year in FBS, and you know, that game really was like, and it's a conference game, so we just really wanted to go out there and show them like we belong here, and I think we did just that.
What did you see from Malik on the other side of you? I mean, like he came in, it was an immediate plug into the right back. What did you see from him?
Yeah, me and Malik, we got a little 1-2 punch combo, you know. I came in, I did what I had to do. He came in, he did what he had to do, you know, and we just did the job that we had tasked, and, you know, we came out and we performed. And, you know, Malik, he's a senior, you know, he's a good leader, great guy, and, you know, we got a long season ahead, so we just want to keep doing what we're doing.
I mean, in the style of offense, is it encouraging that you'll have a role when Rich Rod wants to play like 3 or 4 options at the running back game? In a play, is it encouraging that you have a role either way?
Oh yeah, most definitely. You know, really, I'm not even the type of guy about playing time. You know, just come in and get the job done. You know.